you, would not help you, it's left to speculations, right? But best is to stay at home, and
Yeah.
staying at home helps.
Oh.
It helped a lot of people here in my country. It will help a lot of people outside also.
I think that's just the still the best advice in living with the virus like this, is just staying home as much as possible. There, you can find so many things to do, and there's no reason. But they say that right now the danger is people becoming depressed. Maybe people getting sick and not getting out and getting the help they need. I will say this: my doctor was shocked when she saw me, because you know how you guys keep telling me to get out and get more sun, right? So every day when Kid and I are finished, there's like an hour of sun left. And I run outside with my water, and I get the sun. I sit in the sun every day for 20 minutes. And my doctor goes, "How did you get so much sun?" Because I have color. And she was like, "How did you get so much sun on you?" And I sit outside every day for 20 minutes. And so she was very happy to see that I was healthier. So yeah, but doing these things aren't just to fight this virus. Building our immunity, getting more sunshine, not bad, not a lot, but more sunshine, drinking hydration. All of these things help fight other diseases too. This is what I keep telling people. What we're training our bodies to do right now won't just protect us from COVID. It's going to protect us from obesity. It could protect us from other flus, or help us get over them faster. It could protect us from, I'm not going to say cancer, but it can. I mean, learning these new habits can protect us from so many other things. And like Dr. Rahul said, we can't fight it. We got to learn to live with it. And that's, I think, the best advice we've had. So, yeah. Of course, Ankit knows why I like that. Because I keep saying it. If you can't
I would
fight
like
it,
to,
you can't keep
I would
it.
like to welcome Dr. Tulla and Dr. Jatin
Hi,
and
guys.
Shahbaaz
Hi,
on our show
Bale.
today on
Hi.
TV.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. We have Dr. Rahul Bahut from Jaslok Hospital, Mumbai. He's a pulmonologist consultant there, and he was sharing a lot of good insights, information, and especially in a humor way, as well as in a bonding way as well. That what we need to do and what kind of things we need to follow, and how we doctors can work together around the world to stop this pandemic, and what are the best practices in environment. It was a very good information. I would appreciate if once you finish this show, if you can watch Dr. Rahul on YouTube on IBM TV, that would be a great information.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you for
Come to
joining.
Dr. Jatin because the travel specialist and we would. So, Dr. Jatin, we are getting a lot of queries from that they are having some kind of pneumonia or a lot of what are the best practices for them, and they don't have much amount of PPE kit, and the testing is not going on. So how they should
Your
follow?
voice is not clear. It's breaking. Can you please come again? Your voice is not clear. Ankit?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's coming, but it's breaking. Yeah, please.
Sir, so we are getting a lot of questions from Africa that people are struggling from pneumonia and a lot of other flus apart from the COVID-19,
Yeah.
and especially the asthmatic patients. So what they need to do at this point of time, because they don't have that many amount of kit as well in a lot of countries in Africa. So what is the best way for them to follow it?
So the best way to follow in the countries, just like the developing countries, where there is a mismatch between the resources and the utilization part. What they can do is symptom basis priority checking of those patients. One thing. Second thing is if the patient is undergoing any kind of elective surgeries, and doctors who is planning to go for elective surgeries, if they think so that they are the patient who require the COVID testing, then only they can go for testing. Just as such, going through all the patients for COVID testing, even though they are asymptomatic, I don't think so that the developing countries will able to do that. Second thing, and the third thing which I like to also highlight is that African countries, they are the one which we earlier saying that because of the good immunity, because of the malaria going on earlier, they are taking hydroxychloroquine on frequent basis. So that could be the reason that COVID might not attack them. But now we are seeing that COVID is prevalent not only in India but also in Africa like countries. So my point over here is hello. Yeah.
Uh,
So my point would be over here is that countries like tropical African and India, they are almost the similar one. And the cause of fever in those countries could be n number of causes like the dengue, the chikungunya, the malaria, and even in African countries, the yellow fever one also is quite common. So those are the countries on they should be checklist. So what are the symptoms? If the doctors who is dealing in the emergency department, doctor who is dealing on the OPD basis, if he suspects that the patient is coming to me is he or she might be having these symptoms suspected of COVID, then only they should utilize the kit in doing that. Otherwise, I don't think so. Getting tested for every patient coming into the hospital would not be so much beneficial. We have to think, we have to segregate other tropical infections from the COVID 19.
Well said, sir. So, Dr. Tulla, what do you think? I mean, how we need to cater these countries because they don't have kits and they don't have the right equipment. So, what kind of
So, Ankit,
suggestions you can give?
I had the pleasure of going to one of these countries, I mean, way back. So it was Nigeria. Now, we need to understand that if you look at the African continent, not many countries are well off, right? So there are very few subset of countries who, in their main cities, can have some kind of decent medical facility. Apart from the main cities, I mean, if you go to their interiors, it is virtually in shambles. So I don't even expect them to do too much to take care of. I mean, I don't know what is the amount of testing available with them, because if India, a country like India, is struggling with it, so we can well imagine what will be the plight of Africa and those kind of countries which are not even half the kind of revenue generating countries as we are. So I mean, there is going always going to be that fight of, I mean, the mismatch between the demand and the supply. And of course, I mean, doctors, though the WHO guidelines are very clear that, I mean, about PPE also, that you should not be reusing the PPE. I mean, you should be donning the PPE if you are in contact with a COVID patient, and then, I mean, uh, again taking out a new PP and wearing it. These may not be practical solutions for those kind of countries, and they will also have to look at, I don't know about the sterility conditions also, because ultimately at the end of the day, if you go with the WHO protocol, they say that even if you want to sterilize a PPE, it should be done with either the plasma or the ETO gas, right? These are the only two situations where it is going to work, because otherwise the quality of the PPE is going to be such that if you're going to dip it in hydrogen peroxide or something else, it's not going to work. And you cannot even, I mean, do steam sterilization for this. Ultraviolet light is also one thing which has been brought into the focus. There are certain specifications, but again, it is a costly affair. It is not a cheap affair that you just get an ultraviolet bulb and you just put it and put the PP in front of it and that works. So, I mean, there is going to be a little, I mean, of course, the guidelines are there, but unfortunately, I don't believe these countries will be able to, I mean, apart from the main tertiary care centers, I don't believe that they will be able to follow the guidelines to the hilt. It's basically a kind of whatever the doctor thinks they can do to the best of their abilities, they will try to do. But if this is going to be a great breakout there, I mean, God help them. They will be in a dire soup.
And I think that's been the biggest problem about this. It wasn't a panic about the virus itself, but about the mass destruction it could do at one time, and the medical industry could not really take care of it the way they needed to. And I agree with you. I think if we just continue staying home until we see zero new infections, we can start with a new ground zero. To me, we start out with a new ground zero, and we can build from there and track it faster if it flares up. They did this with other infectious diseases in Nigeria. Um, when things happened, if they could just get it down to where there's zero outbreaks, then they can control the flare ups. Um, and again, most of these situations are, how well can you manage them when the people who get really sick need help? And that's been the problem with this. It's not that it can kill you. In most cases, if you have a good immune system, you're going to fight it off. It could be painful, but that's any flu. But it's the mass amount of people being able to treat them and care for them and having the right resources. In South Africa, I had read some news that they only had 60 ventilators. 60. And they're what do you call it? 3D printing them right now, just so that they can get enough to start helping. And I haven't read up on this, maybe 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I learned that. So things could have gotten really out of hand. We do have guests from South Africa that join us continuously, and they sound fine. I am aware that they're testing. Everyone is required to be tested now. So everyone has to go to the clinic and get tested. It is a swab. So we know that takes roughly 10 days to get back. It's not the rapid test kit. There's a fight over the test kits right now. I've witnessed this, where I've been trying to help people get from manufacturers test kits, and people are buying them in mass bulks. And I'm not talking like mass bulks like 10,000. I'm talking 2 million. So people are going in and ordering them up. And I don't know if it's somebody going in. I mean, this sounds conspiracy. If somebody's going in and just ordering them up so that they can mark the prices on them to sell them to the countries, but it doesn't seem like the countries are, because I've literally spoke with some of the people who buy them for the countries, and they can't get them. The manufacturers are sold out. They're selling out to someone who's buying them up in massive orders. So there's a lot going on right now, but we need to stick together. We need to work together. And I don't see why we can't together build manufacturing facilities in each of our countries using the same blueprint. I think we need to get rid of the patents and trademarks and copyrights. This is about humanity. This is about humans. So as doctors, what do you think about that?
So Kim, as I told you, see, this is going to come. See, yesterday also I told you, I mean, day before yesterday I told you that India is now producing PPEs. So over a period of time, every country will get into this. They will see, this is not a problem at the moment. Over a period of time, this problem will be also taken care of. The biggest problem which I understand is people are still not taking this seriously. That is the biggest issue here, right? So look at all across the world. I mean, they all the well-educated people, though they claim that they are well-educated, they understand everything. But see, what happens is that when they get an opportunity to go outside, they are again jostling, halting, doing all kinds. I mean, see, there 1 meter distance means a perimetry of 1 meter. It does not mean that you and me are in front and that is 1 meter. It means a perimetry, a circle of 1 meter. So now we need to understand and tell people that there is a radius. I presume everyone has studied geometry. They need to understand that, because at the end of the day, this is not working. So what happens is, even if you go to buy groceries and anything, we see people rubbing across each other when crossing. They are not maintaining that distance. They are maintaining distance between each other in front or at the back of 1 meter. But by the time they are crossing each other, it's just like they are going like this. So they are not maintaining that distance. Now, please understand, if someone is positive, you don't know who is positive. And a speck of their sputum or any kind of secretion may end up a catastrophe for the other person. Maybe even not for that person, he may also become a carrier, and he goes home. He has old folks staying with them. They will get infected.
They will get sick.
So we need to be very careful. See, this is what we need to understand. That we understand. Doctors are not the panacea at the moment. We need to understand the silver bullet lies with ourselves, taking responsibility as an individual. That is the silver bullet. There is no vaccine, there is no treatment, but we need to understand that we need to be very careful that we are the magic bullet. If we maintain decorum, if we maintain the right protocols, why should we get infected at all?
We shouldn't. It just,
Yeah,
now that we're aware, now that we have knowledge, we should. I have an idea. Remember back in the day when the women wore big hoop skirts? That keeps
yeah,
you about that keeps you distance. You remember, Anka, you know what I'm talking about? The big hoop
Yeah.
skirts. We'll just go back to
Yeah.
wearing big hoop skirts. Hey, or here's an idea. We maybe get a laser that spreads a light around us, the distance that people should stay away, right? So if we have some sort of laser we wear that spreads the light around us, um, giving that parameter so that you don't cross over into somebody else's beam. I mean, the technology can do this for us. I like the hoop skirt. That's a cool idea. I'll just put on my big hoop skirt. And
Kim, honestly
Uh,
speaking,
Practically, I
basic
think
common sense. Basic common sense is required.
I agree.
Common sense, which is very uncommon, right?
yeah.
So we need basic common sense, which is uncommon.
We lack
Right?
common
We
sense.
need to
We really
So
do.
we need to understand that. So that's a basic thing. See, nothing else has to be done. You're away from people, no chance of getting infected. I mean, what are we talking about? We don't require even technology for that. Basic common etiquette, basic common sense. I don't understand what it takes to get this into the people's head.
So
Certainly.
I think
You don't require doctors for
But
common
I think
sense,
so. Sir,
right?
I think
What is Dr.
if
Jatin
we
doing
follow,
there? What are I doing there? We're not advocating common sense. That is something which is
it's
there with everyone,
it's
right?
free
So
will.
we don't,
Take away
you don't
free
require
will.
you don't require a Dr. Tulla to advocate or a Dr. Jatin to advocate common sense.
No, they take away. You take away a
Absolutely,
person's
absolutely
free
correct.
will, then becomes an issue, and I think that's the big thing. Is
and I think sir, we should learn from our army personnel that during any time they follow a protocol and they follow very good discipline and they live together very closely. You know that, I mean, they live in dormitories
Yeah,
and things
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
But still
yeah.
they
So
follow distance. They're following the distances. So
yeah,
and that's very common. I mean, yeah. So that is what I mean. If you remember, whenever we go to a hospital, maybe, or whenever we visit airport, there is a yellow line. But
yeah.
when in India, I don't know if people are following that yellow line. But the yellow
No,
line
no,
means
no, no, nothing.
yeah. So we just
Dr.
have
Tulla,
to
you
be
are
more
right.
with different
Yeah.
things.
See, Ankit, the beauty was I was traveling a lot. I used to travel nearly around 20 to 23 days in a month. Every day in out of any airport in this country, I know every airport. I've virtually
Yeah,
been to every airport, right? Because of my travel schedule. Now the thing
yeah,
is, everywhere, if I try to maintain a distance, someone else will hop in.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just can't do it. I mean, that's what the
yeah.
and despite I'll share a very interesting anecdote with you. On the 21st, that is one day prior to the lockdown, I was in Patna airport. Right, Patna is the
Okay.
capital of Bihar. I mean, I'm sure Kim must not be knowing
Yeah,
it. Right, it's one of the
yeah,
most downtrodden states in India at the moment, financially. I would
yeah.
people are very smart, but I mean that is what is they get. So there was a gentleman, the police guy, he had a loudspeaker in his mouth and he was telling everyone maintain a distance of 1 meter. With a loudspeaker, he was telling everyone, I will not, please stay away from each other. And no one was listening.
Mm,
So after a while, I
that's
told
happening.
him, why are you wasting your energy? Because no one is listening.
so.
I
How do
tried to maintain a distance between others, but the others were jostling down in the line. So
Yeah,
how can you help it? So that's what I'm trying to understand. That make you understand is that see countries, even the educated people behave like that. What do you talk of illiterates and the not so educated people? It requires a lot of hammering to get into their head, and everyone needs to understand this virus is not going anywhere. We don't have a treatment at the moment, and I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel very soon. Maybe it will. That's a good luck scenario if
yeah.
it happens. But basic common sense, I think, I mean, that is something which, I mean, we just need to drill that.
well, we can
No
see
one can
when
teach you. I
one
mean,
have
this
common
common sense no one can
sense.
teach.
Look at
But
this.
what I think is that Yes, Kim.
77,000 deaths. We have no common sense in the US. Look at this. We have no common respect. We have no common sense. The data shows that. I mean, there's no reason for 77,000 deaths.
Kim, I'll tell you one more thing. I mean, after US, there are a lot of countries who are also following the situation like US. Russia was nowhere, and now you can see Russia is at the within the 10th spot. Brazil is growing, so as Peru. I've seen Saudi Arabia, Ecuador, Mexico, Portugal. So these countries were not there last month. Last month, if I remember, they were at the bottom, and now they're also climbing like anything. And
Mhm.
sir, you would be agree that in India we are always shoulder to shoulder, but when we travel abroad, we need to carry the distance, and that is called etiquette in their own world. But right
So
now, when
that
you
is
see
the
the numbers,
that
the
is the
numbers
beauty.
are not matching.
That,
The numbers
so
are
that
not
is the
matching.
beauty. So that is
Yeah,
that is the beauty, Ankit. You see, when all of us go outside, right?
yeah,
See how decorum is the Indian maintain outside. As soon
yeah,
as they land back to their to the native country, I think we get possessed.
yeah.
There is something wrong in our head.
Well, there's something
Sir,
not
we
When,
right
are
when,
in,
uh,
in Hong
so
Kong
we,
because
there,
they still
so
maintain
we
force.
take it for
so
granted.
between the
Basically, we are not taking
yeah.
India for
So,
granted, and I think we are not. We don't think that this is our country, this is our home. We are just taking it for granted and do whatever we want to do. And I think as a travel specialist, Dr. Jadin Ahuja must have more knowledge to share how we have to travel in a much more better environment, maybe during pandemic or post pandemic. Dr. Ahuja.
Yeah, before coming to the travel part, I would like to the same thing what Dr. Tulla and I think Kim has already said that it's a time for the humanity. It's a time
Yeah,
for being human, not about human being, but it's a time for being human. There's a difference
yeah,
between both these things. The words changing will change a lot, and there are five S. I think earlier in my program I told about five P's. So there are five S also. One
okay,
already Kim has told that is the solidarity. It's a time for solidarity. Come on, all should come on the same platform. All should another S is all should search for the vaccine or search for the medicine. There should be no like patency or something like it's a single company which going to sell this vaccine or sell this medicine to the other countries on a huge prices. So second is the search for the vaccine and medicine for the
yeah,
humanitarian background, not for the sake of earning money. Third is maintaining social distancing. Fourth is spitting. Person who are spitting should be avoided. Spitting should be avoided. And the fifth one is shutting our mouth. If we shut our mouth either by not opening our mouth or by the with the help of mask. So
March,
this five S,
March.
this is only five S. Yes, I think four we can do. Four we can do. Fifth one that is the search for the vaccine or medicine. That is not our part. That will be done by the pharmaceutical companies or industries. The four S that can be easily taken care by us. And coming on to the your second question, so your first question about the travel part. The travel part, yeah, it's good. so, so your travel part is yes, there is a concept coming on these days that the immunity passport. Yes, it can be seen in the near future, in the near horizon. Yet, person who have been exposed or person who have not been exposed, they are not been come across the person who have positive for the COVID-19 or those who have become positive and now they are immune. So how they can get the tested? We can test the antibody levels. If the antibody
Yeah,
levels IgG, which we say it's a chronic IgG maintenance. If the IgG have been developed in our blood, then it means that we our body has been immune, and those are the one who may be allowed in traveling with the logo of immune passport. That those are the immunity, like just like the ambassadors, they have immunity to roam in do whatever they want to do in the other country, just like immunity. So similar with the those who have been coming from the other country or those like in recently India has started a large repatriation. So in that condition also the immunity passport will play major role, I think, in the traveling part.
No, I agree. I think when we start traveling a lot, we're just going to have to learn to be more respectful. I think one of the things I'd like to see happen is over the years since I was a little girl, they took all that out of our education. Used to, we would get these little rulers and it would say, follow the golden rule, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. I think we need to start teaching respect again. we took all of that out. We took prayer, we took respect, we took humility, humbleness. Um, and I think we need to start learning that. I don't think people understand distancing. I was watching that on my way home from the doctor's office. That's why I have a new mask today, by the way. I had to go to the doctor's. They finally, because of my treatments, I missed them for a while now. They finally got me in today. And so it was an hour drive. And so I got to see a lot of things. But people are not adhering at all that I can see. Like I see them going in and out of the stores, like no masks, no. It's scary. They're not. I did go to the store yesterday, but that's our little country store. But everything's one way. It's even hard for me to do it. It's hard for me to shop one way. You go in one way. They clean the grocery carts. They want you to wear masks, but not everybody does. But that's what bothers me too, is it's not everybody, they want you to, but not everybody's doing it, but they don't turn them away if they're not wearing it. It's kind of like if you go to, I think it should be like the black tie events or a tie. If they want you to wear a tie and you're not wearing one, they give you one, right? or they tell you to go get one and come back. But they're not doing that to people. So I think we're just going to have to re-enter, learn to live with this. Infectious diseases. I know this is the biggest one you guys have ever had to deal with. I'm curious as to a vaccine because this comes with several different strains. What is your thoughts on that? With it being so many different strains, how can we get a vaccine?
Yeah, it has recently been seen that the spike proteins, which is present on this coronavirus SARS-CoV-2, there is certain kind of mutations which been seen recently. The virus which is been seen started originating from the Wuhan state. It's been different in the Japan than in the eastern coast of the United States. Little bit because it's an RNA virus. It has the tendency to mutate. That is why the theories are coming that in the African or like Indian countries that the virus is a little bit mild because the cases are not so much lethal in these countries. So it could be the property of the virus itself that it can mutate, one possibility. And the point which you told about the how this prevention of this virus is very important, how we can maintain the social distance. For this, I have one line for everyone that maintain the social distance. It's a difficult task, whether it's in Western culture or it's in our Indian culture. So maintain the social distance. One thing should be in our mind to assume that every person which we are coming across is COVID positive. There's no harm in assuming that. If we assume that the person which suppose I am with the Ankit and I
You can
assume
do
that
it.
Ankit is positive, or suppose Ankit assumes that I am positive. So both. It's not only for Ankit; it's only for me also, because it will maintain a distance by
It's
assuming
in
that
mind, basically.
yes, it's a mind only for the next 6 months. It's not for for your whole life. You need to assume this thing for assumption like this. It's just for next 6 months. If you assume that every patient we are coming across, he or she can be potential contagious, there is no harm. We'll automatically maintain the social distance.
You
If you
know,
don't, yeah.
people normally don't sit next to me on an airplane if I start sneezing. I noticed that,
Hmm.
right? So I always have the seats to myself because nobody. Sometimes I start sneezing for whatever reason, and then people just don't even sit next to me. And my team would always ask me, "Why do you get all the empty seats?" And because I start sneezing. But I like your idea. Just pretend like everybody has COVID. Then you're gonna just do, ooh, stay away from me. You got COVID. I like that mental state. And 1 meter away, I agree. I think we need to learn how to bubble ourselves, right? Put that bubble around us, whether it's mentally draw a circle. But if we think that everyone has it, maybe we will pretend. What is the odds of everyone getting it? Somebody just asked me that on my phone. They couldn't, for whatever reason. Does anyone know what are the odds of potentially everybody getting this?
Oh yeah. So also it depends upon the underlying immunity part. The one thing is that the person who are young also they are also getting succumb to this disease. One thing, even without any comorbidity, even going to a gym 5 times in a week. So the virus which is attacking in two ways. One, those who are highly immunocompromised, like kidney disease patient, diabetic patient, hypertension, heart disorder patient. And the second, on the other hand, contrary, it is also attacking those who are highly immunocompetent. Suppose I am immunocompetent. I'm taking just an example. I am immunocompetent. So if the virus enters in my body, there is a response which is being produced by our immune system, my immune system, robust immune response that lead to cytokine storm syndrome. There is a term known as CSS, cytokine storm syndrome, which leads to marked thrombosis in the vessels of my lung, in my heart, in my whole body, and also damage to my heart and the lungs. This is the theory which is being proposed for those who are immunocompetent, those who are young, those who are going 5 times a week a gym, those who are quite healthy. And in the immunocompromised state, they are damaging in different way. They are damaging the cells present in the alveoli, that is the cells which are present in the lungs. They are damaging the heart muscles directly. But in the immunocompetent, with the help of immune reactivation, they are damaging it. So those
Right.
both are the different spectrum of the disease.
No, yeah, and I think that there's just going to be so many other things that are happening to us. So many people are probably sick and not getting the treatments that they need for other problems, and that's been a big concern of mine too. That's why my doctors work so hard to get me in this week, because they know after a while it's very difficult for me to breathe if I don't get my treatments, and so they worked very hard. You know, but there are other problems we need to focus on. But I think that if we just follow the good habits, we kind of cover a lot of these problems, right?
Yeah.
Just and and in re-entry of travel, because I know this is part of what you do, are we going to have to, Kid and I, we've been kind of laughing about it, but you see these booths that they're making, right, where they spray you, test your fever, prick your finger.
Sanitizer,
Is that
sanitized
going
booth.
to be a reality? Because I'm never going to travel again if I have to get sprayed. I'm just not. Just going to tell you, I'm not going to board go in an airport. But is that a reality?
Yeah, I think I have also pointed out this thing that spraying on the whole body or spraying on your head, it's not going to clear the virus from
Thank
your
you.
lungs.
Thank you.
Yeah, from your lungs.
I know
That's a very yeah,
it.
that's a very important point. One
Thank
thing.
you.
Second thing, spraying like chemicals of these, the sodium hypochlorite or all those solutions, they could be toxic to our eyes also. They
Yes.
could be, harmful for our skin also. They can cause burns, scars, and so these things should be avoided. One thing.
Mess your hair
Second,
up.
yeah.
Excuse me. I'm
Second very important. Yeah. Second very important point. I think the almost all the countries did the screening method. They are just screening the all the persons who are coming from their respective countries just by the infrared radiation thermometer. But there are certain patients who are in asymptomatic phase. There are certain patients who are in incubating phase, and the another one who might be just taken a tablet of paracetamol or Tylenol just before coming on to your arrival, before landing to the arrival. So those are the one you cannot pick up those things. So better is go for the antibody level testing before they depart, and once they have IgG, and the kit should be validated. The one very important point should be that in those patients, kit should be validated. Currently, we are facing the problem of this antibody testing because of the kit is not validated. I think in our country there is no kit which is validated so far. But if in the future we have the antibody testing and that is validated, that can be a game changer. What I can say over here.
So is it like a two-part test, a two-panel test for
Okay.
the
Yeah.
self-testing? So it's IgT
M.
and IgM?
Yeah. True. So what we look at it, the IgM. So whenever the any virus, any bacteria, it comes in our body, what it does is it produces IgM. That is the acute response, immediate response which comes in our body, almost within 5 to 7 days. And after that, it persists for 1 to 2 weeks, and then it declines. And the moment it start declining, the IgG response start building up. What IgG is, it provides the long-term immunity.
So
One thing,
it looks
yeah,
like,
definitely. Yeah.
and so I know because I get people asking me about this all the time, and I know doctors who have it, And so I asked to see what it looks like. They even have shown me how they test it. But people, get it through your doctor. Don't do it yourself. I think if you travel, you should have to have this done before you travel, right? You should. I think they should
Yeah.
require this before you travel, um, because it's let's see.
I would like to know from Dr. Tulla that
It looks
I
like
mean,
this,
there are a lot
right?
of doctors who travel a lot.
It
Yeah.
kind of looks
Yeah,
like
it's a card test. Yeah, it's a card test.
so. But the thing is that we don't need to be doing this ourselves. We need somebody who's certified, and like you said, there's not enough certification out there to probably engage in heavy traveling. They opened up the airports here for travel, but they compared, last year 2 million travelers to this year 200,000. It's a huge difference. But they had actually had travelers. They were showing them go through the airport.
So, Dr. Tulla, when you talk about travelers, there are a lot of travelers like me or maybe like Kim or Shahbaaz, we travel a lot outside India. But when doctor is traveling to domestic or internationally, during the COVID or maybe post-COVID, I mean, what kind of precautions you are taking? Because you might be meeting a lot of new patients at different countries or different regions, and you are not sure that person is contagious to COVID or maybe something else. So, what kind of precautions you follow in that period, pre-COVID and post-COVID?
So see, pre-COVID, we were not following too much of precautions because anything, apparently we were just, whenever we were doing procedures, at that time we were basically taking precautions. And you've
Okay.
seen that in India, things are very different in the airport. One,
Yeah.
there are hardly any body scanners in India. Except a couple of airports, there are no body scanners. And the frisking is extremely physical.
Yeah.
You've seen the people frisking you, they are virtually on you, right? So, whatever precaution you take, they will tell, see, yeah. so, 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 so even if you are wearing some kind of protective, they will tell you to remove the mask, right?
Yeah.
They will tell you to remove the shield. So where is the protection then?
Yeah.
None.
So I really believe that is what the problem is. At least in India, it's not. And coming down to that antibody test also. Let's presume I were to travel to 5 places on each day, right?
Yeah.
So I get one test done at one place. Then
Yeah.
the next day again I have to repeat the test. Third day again I repeat the test. So it's going to be practically a humongous task to do. And honestly speaking, I don't think we are traveling in the way we used to travel. It's just going to be God's way only. I don't think we will be able to do much about.
Now, I'm going to show you.
Unless and
what you have.
until we install body scanners, maybe at the gate also, because the first point of entry when you enter the airport is checking.
Yeah.
Now the guy who's not checking you at a 1 meter distance.
This right here. This is how we're going to have to travel. They wrote this in our science fiction books. I always say whatever we write about always comes true. They had designed our clothes. The laser will help keep people away, 1 meter away, right? But no, seriously, it protects you, right? I think our clothing's going to have to change. I really do. I think, we talk about wearing masks, but I think traveling, that's how we're going to have to travel.
Sir, do you think we should set up a kind of a mini hospital at airport and all the airports across the world? Will that
we
make
will have to. We will.
We'll have
Maybe
to,
not a
definitely, yes.
hospital. Maybe not a hospital, but a kind of
small
you can say
yeah.
what we know as an MI room in army. That means we have a specific doctor there, and with
But sir,
that a basic stuff.
no, sir, I would like to interrupt because MI room won't make a difference because you know that lakhs of people are traveling from Delhi, Bombay, and things like that. So I think
So you
we
will
need a
have to
bigger,
have
we need a bigger space.
maybe a bigger on that.
Yeah,
And I would also
those,
like to know from Mr. Mohammad that there were some reports of some basic fumigation being done by some natural products. Now, what are these natural products? I was very amused to see. There was a lot of fumigation going around with these natural products. They said that it is so. It is not chemicals; they are natural products which kill the virus. So I want to. I mean, I was just curious if anyone knows about anything about them.
We're going to kill ourselves killing the virus, aren't we? We're going to kill ourselves killing the virus.
Dr. Tulla, very,
Dr.
very
Tulla, thank
good
you for
evening, and
sharing.
Dr. Jatin
Good
and
evening.
all
Yeah,
the
hello, hi.
team. See,
Hi, Doctor.
I just sharing my experience. See, I'm a great. I travel very frequently. Even the day of lockdown, I was traveling.
Uh-oh, what happened? We
He's
lost
having
him.
a problem with the internet today, basically.
Oh, I think
He's
he
having a
traveled
problem with the
again.
internet.
No,
I
I'm,
think. He's
I'm
traveling.
scared to death of fumigating. So let's don't talk about that. Fumigating scares me. You know, we used to fumigate our fields out in the farm country, right? And then they found out that it was killing all of us. And so you know, I just have issues with fumigation. But that's an interesting thought there. Is he able to get on? Let's see if we can get him on. All right, can you share with us, Mohammed?
Yes, I want to share right now.
Okay, thank you.
So till the 24th of March, I was traveling. I reached Patna from Patna to Delhi at 8 p.m. and there was no taxi to reach to my home. But okay, I arranged anyway. So during and after the lockdown, I used to use Amla 30 ml juice every night, and it gives three more important things. One, the it works like it is a very good detoxified kind of thing, and it takes care of it is very good laxative as well, and it is a very good immunomodulator. And apart from that, I used to take giloy syrup and one capsule of fish liver oil daily. And the most important thing, apart from this natural thing, we have to have take care our own internal system. I was used to sleep 8 hours. So whenever I used to sleep complete 8 hours, then that day I was feeling very strong, energetic. That means 8 hours sleep was very mandatory and very fruitful for me. Because even traveling to last day of the lockdown, I am safe till today, and I'm very energetic and happy. Second thing, I am very much following the frequent taking water. So I'm drinking water frequently, and this cleans my the respiratory tract and very, very carefully. Second thing, Glow. Glow is very natural herbal product. It gives a very good immunomodulator. It has very good immunomodulator properties, and it is time tested kind of thing. So if somebody will be using like Giloy or the combination of Giloy and Amla juice, then it would be a perfect kind of thing as a preventive measure as such. And it is need of the hour. Yes, Dr. Tula.
Yes, Dr. Tula.
So I was asking about that. I had a lot of there were some visuals going around in Maxim channels where they were telling that they were spraying something natural as an alternative to, I mean, the chemicals which are used for, I mean, surface cleaning. So that is why I was just curious to know whether any of us has any idea on what these natural products are.
This is a marketing gimmick actually. See, marketing gimmick is going on. So everybody
Oh,
is taking
yes.
opportunity and advantage. See, I don't
So
know
natural.
really. I don't know the fact. See, if something is going on, so I'm not familiar with that. The natural kind of sanitizer.
Sir, when you
So
talk
that
about
is why
natural,
I was also
natural
amused
is
that what is
water,
this
natural
natural
is
Uh-oh.
natural is water,
acid?
natural is milk, and natural is honey. I think apart from that, it's difficult to find anything natural. And this is one
Okay.
of the immunity boosters which we use in India. I think Dr. Tulla
Yeah.
and Dr. Ahuja is aware about it.
Yeah,
And this is the
Put
yes,
that back up. Put that back up.
this is the gooseberry. This is the chawanprash, and this is the gooseberry which Shahbaaz bhai was mentioning. This is like an amla, and you can have it one a day. And I think people, even doctors, are taking it. I mean, it's not that I'm vouching for Ayurveda, but this is all natural basically.
no,
Awesome.
no. No. So the interesting thing was that I've heard today that maybe the Indian Ayurvedic system is also, I mean, in the task force of formulating some, I mean,
Yeah.
preventive medication things and all that, and maybe even in the trials of certain products for so-called treatment, or I don't know what exactly it is, but there was something going around, I presume.
Oh, B12. You know, B12 you can get in beer.
Oh,
I don't know if
HSI.
anyone knows that. And beer has one of the highest hydration rates. Not that I promote beer, but I just think it's funny because they always say beer has B12. But
And yeah, one of the popular beer name is Corona beer.
Corona beer, that's right. So get your B12, get your Corona beer. But its hydration rate is extremely high. Hydration index is actually high in beer. Just, milk is one of the highest ones too. I get very, very excited to hear these things. I've learned so much, and I've learned so much today. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in staging our travel, and especially with infectious disease. But hello, Lynn. Have you been listening?
I have been.
Namaste.
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 So,
Should we talk about the dollar store? We just put
yeah,
beer.
just for a minute. Lynn is one of our big sponsors, and thanks to him, we're able, got our first sponsor going on here. But he actually has a dollar store that's online, so people don't have to go to the store. Of course, it's just in the U.S. He is working on getting it in India and Canada and other places. But what's that? Candy?
Dr. Tulla, can you explain what is Hajmulla?
I can't see it.
Hold it. Put it back up, Anka. Hold on. Whoops.
Yeah. So
Vitamin C in little packs. Yeah.
So I presume that once this COVID situation is over, I mean, Ankit, you can send a lot of these goodies to Kim to try on, right? And I'm sure you must have shared with her the videos of the booze thing which happened in India. I mean, she would have a hearty laugh on that also. it will increase her yeah. So I'm assuming that you have shared that with her, because then she'll enjoy all the see how it is in India.
Yeah.
We are a very great country with great comicry also, if we indulge in all of that.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a good, humble sense of humor too. I mean, you're very, very humble in your country, and I've become very blessed in learning more about you. But Ankit and I, we work together probably an hour after the show every day, and he shares with me, and we challenge each other too sometimes. Like we had a challenge on fitness and things like that. So, but yeah. The great sense of humor. Your artist work is fabulous in India too. But some of the things that we've been trying to encourage people is stay home with the infectious disease doctor, with Dr. Tulla and Mohammad. That is the only way we can get control of this. One of the best ways to do is don't go out shopping. And get your dollar store items, household items from the dollar store online. They ship for free. If you spend $25, which is pretty easy for me to do, and they have what do you call it? Dollar bonuses. I registered, got my dollar bonuses.
Rewards programs.
Rewards program.